Hi folks, it's John from lastchanceautorestore.com. I'd like to share with you another update. This is Eileen, the 1978 Volkswagen Westfalia camper van. In an earlier video we shared with you where we were working on the back battery tray and rear wheel well area and all of the rebuilding that we had to do there. And now we've changed or moved our focus to front of this back wheel. So basically this is the sliding door area, and obviously this is this section in front of the back wheel on the passenger side. So basically, like the other pieces that we were dealing with and the rust areas, this section had extensive body filler basically down this whole side, and we had evidence of a lot of rust and previous repair. It was quite wavy and odd looking, I guess you'd say. Once we removed the rest of the body filler, there were holes through. So basically we wanted to see what we were dealing with. So this section basically was in here. And there was a heavy amount of body filler. And then when we removed the body filler, you can see where you can basically see right through. Well, that area was all plugged with body filler and filled in, and that's, I think, why it was so thick. Now, we had a couple of surprises. Before I get to the surprises part, we'll share with you, like in our other boring videos, probably easier if I can set that down maybe so the camera can pick it up. What we like to do is drill out the original factory spot weld locations, so then they're marked, and then we weld in the same location. Same thing up on the inside wheel well area. So now this patch or piece that was in here that we removed, when we flip this over, you can see some evidence of quite an interesting repair. There's lots going on. First of all, this is spray foam. So someone's used a lot of spray foam, and we saw some of it on the inside when we removed the interior. They sprayed a bunch of spray foam in here, and I think the idea was to give something for the body filler and caulking to stick to. Because once we were grinding this, there was a lot of smoke in different colors and smells, and so we had to stop, because with the grinder we had the spray foam was actually igniting and smoldering, and then we have all these different kind of products. I'm not sure, it's some type of caulking material. And then we have this pink stuff, which is another version of body filler, but you see how far and how thick they've put it in here. This is the factory paint overspray from when they painted the inside of the van. This portion wasn't treated from the factory, and same thing here. You can see a lot of rust on the wheel well area where it's metal against metal. But in here, there's all kinds of interesting products that they've tried to use, and we see this quite often. So to deal with this properly, we obviously want to get rid of all that. So we cut it all away, and once it was cleaned out, we removed all the spray foam and all the neat caulking. So then we had the bare, excuse me, the bare metal. And then once we had the bare metal, we treated it with a rust inhibitor. And then this is our new panel, and these panels seem to be the best. I believe it's pronounced Clockerholm, and they do a really nice job. It's the same thickness as the factory steel, and the shape is fairly close. It still needs a little bit of massaging and working and hammer and dolly, but they're the closest panel to fit for these Westfalias. So what we've done, basically, you can see where we've cut out the old piece, and then we've worked the new piece in, and we've welded it in place, and we have the correct flare and shape, and then the spot welds along here for structure. So now that we have that in place, we'll spend some time next. We'll grind all of these welds smooth, and so the inner tub and the inner wheel well and the exterior now all have new metal and protected properly. I think the camera can probably pick it up. On the inside or the back side, so this is where we slide the sliding door, and then the back side you can see now excuse me, before that had a bunch of spray foam and questionable material in there. So now you can see we have our factory metal, which is strong and in a nice shape, and then factory metal up above, which is nice. You can see we've got some bleeding from the smoke from the spray foam, and then we have the black, which is the new steel. So now we have all new metal in there, and then later what we'll do is we'll deal with all this, because we're going to media blast or sand blast the rest of this section. It'll all be bare metal, and then we'll treat it with a 2-part black epoxy to seal it. So that's the back side of this panel. So it's coming along quite nicely. So this basically, we started with Eileen, we started at that back corner with all the collision damage on the driver's side and the tail light. So now we have all new metal there. We have new steel across the engine bay and the support piece. We have new metal in the battery tray and surrounding area. We have new steel in the inner and outer wheel well section, and then we have the new steel obviously in the front wheel well section in this exterior panel. So it's coming along quite nicely. So we'll continue to share with you updates. This is Eileen, the 1978 Volkswagen Westfalia, and I'm John from lastchanceautorestore.com.